Greetings all, I'm Jeff Dabelko, I'm professor in the Buena Vista School, and it's going to be the next couple of weeks with me talking about climate resilience in the policy, the practice, the politics of building climate change resilience, understanding climate change. We're going to go from the very local here in Athens County up to the global discussions. I know you've had a great introduction to some of the key policy developments with the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change and the various global negotiations, as well as some of the domestic legislation looking at that. We're going to start out with a discussion of stakeholders in this first asynchronous class, and then move on to some further discussion of the global climate change governance architecture, which includes the treaties but goes beyond that. We'll have a chance to really look at what building climate resilience means in a local context. Like I said, Athens County and some of the efforts that we are engaged in talking to people in the city and the county and the different representative interests that come from those different stakeholders, and understand what this means in the context of older adults in particular. Although we're finding what's good for older adults is frankly good for all of us, and so understanding how the future is not necessarily going to look like the past from these climatic changes, and translating that into things that people are living and dealing with and caring about on a day-to-day basis. We're also going to look specifically at what I think is often a neglected area in the challenges of building climate resilience and understanding the challenges we have, which is around communication. There's been a lot of work that's done that can seem not superfluous, but separate from this discussion that's about policy and politics, but at the same time I would maintain is central to building winning coalitions, to engaging with critics, to engaging with those who don't have the knowledge but would like it and or have different understandings. And so we're going to spend a session particularly on climate change communications and being creative in that space, storytelling with a purpose. And then we'll also spend some time thinking about some constituencies, some groups of stakeholders, some communicators, frankly, in this area that aren't the first or second or maybe even third or fourth groups that we're thinking about, talking about in this context. So that lays out a little bit about what we're doing in terms of the context. A word or two, just maybe a reminder about some of my background. I'm a political scientist by training, worked for a couple decades in Washington, D.C. at the interface between research and policy, and so that has been where I have lived and worked in this space. It's been explicitly focused on international and the connection between climate change, foreign policy, development policy, even security policy, and so we'll talk a little bit about that. But it's in that context that a different part of the interdisciplinary team and the interdisciplinary discussion we'll have in class. Looking forward to it, but I thought I'd record this short video because the first time we're together is an asynchronous session, and so they just give you a little introduction and context for today's lesson and our game plan going forward. Thanks so much. Looking forward to engaging with you all in person as well.